What is up, legends? We are back, and we're back with the top 5 underrated gachas of 2021. Now, all of these gachas, including the honorable mention number 6 right here, which is Nair Reincarnation, um, I all would like to actually come in and actually, play them if I had time. Obviously, you don't have time for everything. Everybody asks me, how do I keep up with so many games? The fact is, I actually don't keep up with so many games because I have to pick and choose what I want to stick into. And these 5 games, including this one right here, which I just didn't want to do a top 6 because, phonetically, that doesn't sound that great. Um, they all deserve some type of recognition because they're not bad games. That for whatever reason they haven't been mainstream and people just really haven't paid attention to them in a way I feel that they should deserve because they're actually kind of fun. Technically, this is a walking simulator with some RPG elements, and that's one of the reasons why people aren't into it. But it's a very story-driven based game, and that hasn't translated well. So going in with these particular games is just going to be my opinion in all of this. You can take it for what you want to take it for, and just have some fun with it. If you have a top 5 that you feel is an underrated gotcha, by all means put in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think on these games. But I believe all of them are at least worth you trying to reinstall or trying to play them again and have some fun with them, and then go about your way. So without further ado, this is going to be the top 5 underrated gotchas for 2021. And like and subscribe if you like the content. We do 3 to 4 videos every day on the channel. Probably the most active gotcha channel on YouTube right now. So all the support is greatly appreciated. First up, number 5 is Exo Heroes. Exo Heroes is in a tough spot and gets a very bad rap for what it's doing right now, which is actually impressive because the game actually improved itself almost in every single way, from stability to actual balance. The game, balance wise, was broke as F, and they said, you know what, it's broke. We got to fix it. We got to do something about this and change the balance. And that pissed a lot of people off. A lot of old timers in the game was like, man, I got all this power and everything. Now you're taking it away from me, which they technically didn't. They gave a lot of compensation for that. And they said, you know what? We got to start from scratch and make this all over again. Now, they did kind of copy Epic 7, which is why this is not higher on the list. But from my opinion, right now, the game is actually better and in a better place than it was when it was at launch. If it had came out like this, we'd be having a completely different conversation right now. But because people have perspective of the broke ass way that it was before and got used to it being broke, people are going to be stubborn and they want their power because they earned it over time, which is valid. But it was broken, so it's kind of like somebody got shot, but you want to overlook it because you didn't get shot. Like, it's the same thing. Like, they did a good job, and you got to give it to them. Number 4 is a Guardian Tales. Now, Guardian Tales is a retro game, and it's actually a really good retro game. I give this game a lot of credit for the story and the content that it has. It's constantly being renewed. They're constantly putting characters in, obviously, because it's a retro game and it's easier to actually do that. But the characters actually come with story and interaction and stuff like that where they actually kind of fit. And I have a lot of fun with this game. This is one of those games that I actually just play and I don't cover because it's just more fun to just play it. Uh, it's not popular, which is unfortunate. I think that it's a lot to do with it not being, like, I guess you could say, promoted, and they don't have a lot of commercials for it. I guess they don't have a budget for that or something like that. It's a good kind of game, so they should be like better with that, but they're just not when it comes to this game. And I think that it deserves a little bit more spotlight. And I think the community gave up on it a little bit too quick. But I think that kind of happens with retro games. You're gonna see a theme of that going forward, where retro games get like a niche type of crowd, but they don't really get the mainstream because they don't look good. Like, this doesn't look graphically like, oh my god, this is Epic 7 or something like that. It doesn't look like that. It looks like a Super Nintendo game that you're running around with, and you can have fun and have co-op with people. Like, there's raiding and PvP, and lots of story-based content and tons of freebies. They're always giving away freebies in this game, so I believe that it deserves to be pretty much an underrated gotcha, and maybe people should give it a second chance because it's a lot of fun and you can get a lot of work. Next up, we have a Girl Cafe Gun. Now, Girl Cafe Gun is in an interesting spot. It probably has the best illustrations on the market and probably the prettiest cast as far as girls in the market, even though I got a few lollies I wish they would delete. But we're going to look past that. The game itself is pretty fun. It's pretty giving as long as you play properly, and it's actually pretty strategic as well as far as dealing with boss fights. And I like a game where you have to actually use some skill. And they have a PvP mode which they introduced about a month ago. That was amazing. It was some of the best PvP fun I had in a long time. They had some cheaters and they banned a lot of people who were cheating, but when you can get an actual valid match and play, and with actual people who weren't cheating, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So if they work out the cheating that people were doing, it'll probably be like one of the best PvP modes in Gacha. Literally, it didn't lag. It didn't have issues as far as like just people being like overpowered. You just had base stuff that you could kind of like make like rogue like builds and have a lot of fun in it. And just the way the girls look in general. Lita is one of my favorite Gacha girls because of her story. Then you have Moon and then Granny. It's just a lot of fun characters in this game, and it's definitely worth its spot at number 3 and worth you guys checking it out again. So next up at number 2, we have FFBE, which is Final Fantasy Brave Exvius World of Visions. This game historically just gives you a lot of stuff over time. Like if you just play it and do your thing in the game, you will be able to get any character that you want, hands down. It's just been like that for years. My problem overall with this game is it might be too big for its own britches right now, which means that it might have too much of a skill gap as far as what you need to actually do in the game and how you grind through it. Even though they give you a lot of free stuff, it's just a mountain of the grinding stuff to actually do. And this is a tactics based game, so when you have a tactics based game, when you have a mountain of things to do, that usually ends up being a problem where people just end up burned out and don't want to play it. And on top of the fact that they actually really don't promote this game as well as they should. It's Square. I don't know what is up with Square where they decide that they just only want to promote one thing and not the other, but they just don't really talk about this game as much as it deserves. Like it gets a lot of collabs, as you're literally looking at 2 collab characters from 2 different Final Fantasies in here at the same time. Matter of fact, do I have 3? No, I have 2. Just 2. It's just Cloud and Yuna here at the same time. Like it's actually kind of amazing. And this is basically from the event for Final Fantasy 7. The game is fun overall if you're into the Final Fantasy Tactics type of gameplay, and it's worth number 2 on the list because, like I said, they give you so much stuff to actually play with, and it deserves more recognition. Now, finally, what we have at number 1 is Revived Witch. Now, I know you guys are like, damn, this game is relatively new, and why is this here? All right, so here's the problem with Revived Witch. I strongly believe that if the characters didn't look like, if they looked kind of like how they looked in their illustrations right there, like somewhat like that in the game, this game would be in a different spot right now. I think the fact that this game is retro hurts it a lot. And I think that's kind of unfair because I have no problem with retro games. I think Guardian Tales is pretty great as well. And to an extent, Girl Cafe Gun is a retro looking type of game as well. But the problem is that this is like Super Nintendo retro, and it looks like Final Fantasy type of retro, which is why I liked it, because obviously I'm a Square fan and a Final Fantasy fan. And that said, that kind of did a lot as far as how people perceive the game. Now, this game has a very strong following as far as people who actually play it, and I still think that it's one of the best games of the year, in my opinion. But people will argue me to that in the grave. They're like, no, it's not. It's crap. Like it's hardly any content, which actually has a lot of content. You can treat the game like a JRPG. It basically is a JRPG with the ability to be with a guild and then run around, even though guild doesn't do anything. But this game is relatively fun, in my opinion. I like the different bosses. Like, see, like this right here, boss had a different mode to it, and you can change up and gets a bit harder. And I think people are a little bit too harsh on it because of the kind of retro type of look. I think it's cool, in my opinion, and it gets my my nod for #1 underrated gacha game of the year. Even though it's relatively new, it fell off quick. I think the community gave up kind of quick. And you notice the one thing, this is the one game out of all of the six that actually has well, not people, that actually had some type of budget, because I see commercials for this game places, and they're not like BS type of commercials. They're pretty cool commercials. So a TV commercial for this game, which was shocking. uh so yeah, when you like, the one thing that hurts gacha games is when they don't promote. And all the rest of the games that are on this list did not promote, and that's one of the reasons why they're so forgotten, is because they don't promote. They don't have like any type of budget or anything like that to say, hey, this game is here, we're here, it's a cool game, you're gonna come check us out and come play our game. It's nothing like that for these other 5 games. However, for this game, it does have that, which is why it's the #1 game here. But I think even with that, it hasn't been saved. Like, it just, I don't know what's the exact reason why this game isn't considered to be the top right now. Not like, not super top, but at least to be sitting up there with like Dokkan and Genshin and the other games like Arknights and stuff like that. Like, I can hate Arknights all I want, but it's still one of the top gacha games right now as far as gross. So you have to be, you can be critical, but you have to be professional at the same time, and you got to give games their credit, and I want to give this game credit. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what your games are in the comment section, what you like, what your top 5 underrated gachas would be, because I always like to know. People have different tastes and stuff like that, and this is just my taste as far as looking around, and I kind of put numbers to this as well. For those of you who don't know, I didn't explain it this year, but what I do is I look at the numbers of the game. I look on YouTube, I look on Twitch, and I look on the numbers on my channel to see how the videos particularly did, and like, what game I feel is underrated but still got a lot of views. And it was clearly Revive Witch. Revive Witch did pretty well, and then people don't talk about it, and barely, like, it died out in my Discord. The main Discord for it doesn't seem to be too popping right now. I checked to see how lively they are. It's not that lively there either. So, and in the comparison, Blue Archive is kind of lively compared to this. I don't know if it's because of waifus or whatever else like that, but it is what it is. So that's all I got for you guys in this video. Hope you enjoyed, and we have one more video like this coming for the New Year's. So I'll see you guys next video. And thank you, Legends, for getting to the end of the video. We do 3 to 4 videos every day. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be first in notification squad. I love everybody who stops by, and I will see you next video. Peace.